Welcome back to the Everything Real Estate Show with David Angione. We're going to go into the question that we had about what does it cost to put my home on the market, and am I better to do it by myself? So basically, our commission starts at 7%, but everything is negotiable there. So, but we're looking at 7%, and we're going to talk to you about that. So basically, again, our rate is 7%, and it is negotiable. About selling it by yourself, you can sell it by yourself, but somebody's going to call you during the day and you're at work, or you work midnights and you're sleeping, and you're going to get that phone call and you're not going to answer it, and they may just move on. Plus the fact that when you have a realtor, they're going to make sure that they're qualified before they come and show you your home. The other thing is, you have much more exposure than you would if you were selling it by yourself. If you list it with a realtor, preferably that David Angione guy, you would be in the multiple listing service. There's newspaper. You're going to be on the Facebook, and so you're going to have a lot of more people working for you. In my agency, there's like 70 realtors. They're all going to know about that home and see it from them. You're going to put in maybe an ad in the newspaper. You might put something on Facebook or Craigslist, which is not the best idea, Craigslist, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think it's a good idea for you to list your home without a realtor, and it's safety reasons. There's a lot of different reasons. You're going to get a whole heck of a lot more exposure. So hopefully that answers the question for you there. Lynn in Maslin is the one who sent that question in, and I do appreciate that. You can send questions to Stephanie or myself or Ryan. And Stephanie, how would they get in touch with you?
It's Sanzone, SANZONE, at emmloans.com.
And Ryan?
You can email me at ryan@firstinohio.com, or you can call us at 330-961-1010. I was going to give you my cell phone there for a minute.
And mine is David at David Angione, and that's spelled ANGIONE.com. So now back to the list needs of what we need to do a loan. So Stephanie, go for it.
Sure. Items needed to buy a home. So when we have that contract in hand, we always ask for items. Most of the time that I prep my customers and ask for the items in the beginning or before so they can start getting them ready, because it does take a little while to go ahead and gather the documents. Most importantly is a copy of your driver's license or state ID. We need copies of pay stubs for each applicant reflecting 30 days. So if you get paid every 2 weeks, then 2 every week. Then we need 4. We just need 30 days worth of pay stubs. We need names and addresses of employers for 2 years. Definitely get the correct addresses of where exactly you worked, not necessarily on the W-2s or pay stubs, because those could be corporate. And we need phone numbers for your HR department for where you work as well.
What is HR?
HR, Human Resources.
Okay.
Human Resource Department, we need that phone number so we can verify income. And we do verify everything. So once you tell me on the pre-approval that you get paid a certain amount, it's going to have to be that certain amount when I verify it. W-2s for 2 years. So starting in February, we're going to need 2016 and 17. Right now, we're still asking for 15 and 16. Bank statements for most current 2 months. So we need 60-day statements, all pages, page 1 through 4. Even if page 4 is blank, we still need it because the underwriter is going to see 4 pages there, and we need to see all 4.
Oh, yeah, it is important, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things that happens when it comes to bank statements is page 4 will be missing, and then there's more time, and that could take up to, it could take an hour, it could take a week, so the less amount of delays that we have, the quicker we can get your loan done, and that's our objective, is to get you into your new home as quick as what we can. So when Stephanie asks for your documents, get them as quickly as what you can.
Yes, exactly. Any kind of delays is going to put going back into underwriting as delayed, getting my processor to review it delayed, and then it could potentially delay the loan closing. And then as far as the bank statements go, if we need to verify anything else with your bank statement, like a paycheck going in to show reserves or for your down payment, then we're going to actually need to see an account activity. And if that account activity is not printed from online with the URL on the bottom, then it's going to have to be stamped and signed by the bank itself. So there's a lot of very specific things the underwriter needs to see, and they have to be coming in that specific. So it comes back to following directions.
So a bank statement from the internet is not necessarily going to work.
Some of them don't. I believe Huntington is one that it's very hard to pull with the URL number on the bottom or the URL. It doesn't say secured for some reason when you pull it, or it's not completely there. If you're pulling them, Huntington has a trick to pulling them. It's sometimes easier for you to just go to the bank and get it stamped and send it in.
Okay. So, or sometimes they can, I think some of the lenders will actually email a copy of the statement to directly to you or somewhere. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, definitely it's just simpler to go get it stamped, and then you're done with it, and you don't have to go back and do it again, adding more time. So, yes.
Stephanie, what if you are just a home inspector and you don't have like an employment, an HR person, you're kind of self-employed, your income varies from month to month, and you don't really have that same paycheck coming in every month?
Good
So
question.
self-employed, we're getting to that, but thank you, Ryan. We actually need you to be self-employed for 2 years, and with those 2 years, we're going to need tax returns showing your self-employment. At that point, we have to run the numbers into our self-employed income calculator, because some of the numbers that you're showing that you made for that year could be off, because we don't have to take depreciations, or there's some things we can omit to make your income higher. There's a lot of different specifics with self-employed. We have to run it through our automated underwriting system. It's Fannie Mae. And if they say that we only need 1 year tax returns, then we can just follow that and get 1 year. Depends on how long you've been self-employed. But we go by tax returns. We go by the information that's on there. It's very important to do your tax returns well so that you're showing some sort of income so we can use that.
Okay, so just the same process, just a little different.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated because we're actually digging into those tax returns and dissecting them.
So I make $50,000 a year, let's say. We'll use that number. And I have $3,000 a month in overhead, advertising, car expense, people that help me do work and stuff like that. So now I'm I have 50 and I have that 3,000, and so my income is not going to be the 50. It's going to be minus that 3 times 12. So
right, it's going to be a lot lower. That is going to be on your tax return,
right.
And we can factor in some things, but not everything.
Okay. So if I'm making 50 and spending 36,000, I'm not doing very good. But that was just a figure there. So anyhow,
Right.
But it's important if you're self-employed that you report all of your income.
And a lot of people don't.
Right. So if you're a server, and I know that a lot of people, for whatever reason, they make tips, and that's a major portion of it. And then it comes down to they want to buy a house, and they may be making $70,000 with their pay and their tips and everything. They're only recording X amount of money. And if you're only recording $25,000 and you have car payments and stuff going out, you're not going to do, you're not going to buy much of a home. So
Right.
So keep track of your money and report it all.
Yes.
So
keep track of those receipts.
we're not the money police here, but
Right.
if you want to buy a home, you've got to show that you have the assets to do it. So
Yes, you definitely have to have the income.
right.
Another couple important things, if you're on Social Security or disability, we're going to ask you for the statements that you get in the beginning of the year. So make sure that you kind of know where your statements are, keep them in a safe spot. disability as well, and then also VA. We're going to ask for proof of income if you get any kind of disability from the VA. And veterans, we're going to ask for DD-214s, so make sure you have those handy. And then if you do have any kind of loan on your 401k, please report that to me because we have to factor that out of your ratios or out of your income, and sometimes that can make or break a deal as well.
So you mentioned DD-214. I have mine. I have it at home. It's in a safe box. It's recorded. What if you don't have one?
Then you'll have to call and try to get a copy from the VA.
Okay. And that's a pretty simple process.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And if you need help with that, you can, get in touch with myself and we can connect you to the right spots. Or Stephanie, we definitely know where to send you. So,
yes.
What else do we have there for us today?
Earnest money deposit. So if you're putting earnest money down, we're going to need to see the copy of the earnest money check. Most of the time the realtors have that. They make copies and they most of the time send them to me. And then we're going to actually ask for an updated statement with that earnest money clearing your account, and that comes off your closing costs or your down payment at the end of the loan.
Okay, cool. So, one thing that I'm seeing a lot of too, and this is more of a caution to you, the buyer, and even the seller, is we're seeing an uptick in the wire fraud. So if you are getting something that appears to come from your lender, your title company, your realtor, you want to be careful not to respond to that email or text that you're getting, or calling the phone number that may be on the bottom of that letter, because it's going to look real. I got something the other day that I can't remember what the word was, but when I looked, I think it was license, and it should have been spelled L-I, and it was spelled L-Y.
Oh, geez.
So that was my first indication, was misspelling. So if you get some of those letters, double check them, and don't call the number on that email or letter. Call the one that you've been calling all along, whether it's your realtor or your lender or the title company. Call that number, not the number on the letter. Don't email back to that. Email back to the place that you've been responding all along, because wire fraud is up, and it doesn't matter who you are. They're going to hit you because they don't know. I know there's some cases where recently somebody was bilked out of $25,000 because they were told to wire money, and they wired it, and boom, it was gone. So it happens to everybody. But we are at the end of our program for today. We thank you so very much for tuning in. And this is the Everything Real Estate Show with David Angione, Stephanie, and Ryan. We thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch you next week. Remember to send in your questions. Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.